I spend a lot of time with CIOs across the board, and I think one of the things we find them spending most of their time trying to grapple with is, they provide a service to the business. So, whether it's in the area of corporate governance, analytics, business intelligence, customer management, and various specific industry applications, they need to provide a high level of service level. So, I think a lot of what we find the CIOs are trying to do now, in terms of what's on their agenda from a technology perspective, is provide that service level, but again at a reasonable cost with an information architecture that's thought through in terms of the capability that they need to provide, but once again, without the extravagance of the past.
So as to say, there is no change in Oracle's strategy. Oracle has always been believing to deliver customers a technology that is able to solve the business problems, able to effectively improve the operational efficiency, and ensure all the right aspects to the business growth while reducing the costs. So before acquisition, most of these companies have been Oracle technology partners. From day one, with those partners, we've been delivering the integrated complete solutions. And today, with their acquisition, we are able to even develop more tightly integrated end-to-end systems.
So one of the things that we made several announcements at Oracle Open World. One of the most exciting announcements that was made was a technology that we call the Exadata database machine, and we announced the first version about a year and a half ago that was fundamentally focused towards data warehousing. That was very successful. We announced the second version, X22, that was really around mixed load. So it's the world's fastest database machine focused around mixed load. So providing a consolidation platform that can provide a company with a data warehousing capability and an OLTP capability. The real benefit is speed and cost. And simplicity in architecture. So across the board, saving on the total data center cost, saving on the performance in terms of the overall scalability. So we released that, as I said, about 18 months ago. The second version came out about 12 months ago, and we've had tremendous success. We've had customers all across the ASEAN region, all across Asia Pacific. All across pretty much every industry. We've seen a lot of success in telecommunications, FSI, so banking specifically, insurance, government departments, manufacturing, so not specific to any industry, but we've seen success in companies who are looking at simplifying the architecture, giving high availability, managing security, but at a reasonable cost. And in the telecommunications space, we've worked with companies such as Exadata in Bangladesh, True Telecom in Thailand, Shanghai Mobile. We worked with SK Telecom in Korea, Turkcell. A lot of companies have deployed this and found significant savings. The same in the banking space, Commonwealth Bank in Australia, BNP, PNB, locally EFU Insurance in the general insurance, non-life insurance space. So a lot of success across the board, and even in government departments, in Singapore with the National Healthcare Group. Once again, organizations who are basically focusing on getting speed, getting high performance, getting scalability, but with an architecture that's low cost. We've done benchmark that suggests that we're a significantly lower cost than competitors in terms of the total cost of ownership. So, and as I said earlier, it's the only machine available in the world today that is a true mixed load platform. So you can consolidate multiple applications both in the analytical world and in the data and in the OLTP world on the one box. And that sounds quite simple, but it has not been available and not been, you couldn't do that a year ago. You just couldn't do that a year ago. So again, if you think of one environment that provides all the scalability, all the ability to house multiple architectures, running on generally available hardware and giving you still a lot of scalability with complete manageability one company, that's a significant saving in cost, a significant ability to manage the environment. And so I think that's one of the things we're seeing customers finding quite interesting from Oracle, is that what we're trying to do as a company today is really engineer hardware and software to work together from the ground out, with the view of reducing the amount of time that it takes and money, the amount of time and money it takes for the customer to integrate all this at their shop floor.
I believe the entire executive board is driving it. Obviously, if you look at the CFOs, they are very much tied towards looking at the bottom line and what they can do in improving the productivity. If you look at the CEOs, they are tied to looking at the new business business expansion channels, whether those be the new markets outside within Pakistan, whether those be the new ways of selling products, or whether those be the being able to better serve customers. And CIOs on the other hand side are the to-go-to person from the CEO as well as the CFOs or the presidents of the companies, where the profile of CIO have obviously been raised from their conventional hat of being able to manage the IT system. They are being tasked to bring in the technology and how technology can really translate into the top line and the bottom line growth.
One fact is for sure that the amount of acquisition that Oracle Corporation globally is doing have helped us open more doors at customer places. Other than IT, we are now meeting CFOs, CEOs more confidently that we can bring in more solutions to address their needs. So I think at Open World we have heard new solutions coming in shape of database machine, newer versions. We had a new middleware machine by the name of Exalogic. We had announced our biggest ever R&D project from Fusion Apps. So I think that shows the potential here locally that we can actually address local needs through these more advanced solutions.
With the changing landscape, and if you look at the past decade, when, as I said earlier, regardless of the line of business you belong to or the industry you belong to, when there's a realization at the CEO level and the board level to ensure the top line growth as well as the bottom line improvements in profitability, technology is the only means, obviously with the process optimization, etc. There is no scaling back on the technology. Obviously there is a greater desire to extract more value from the existing investments and trying to do more with the less, which goes back to the very principle of driving the better return on investment. So on one end, there is a great desire to simplify the data centers, deploying the technology and trying to get the maximum return on the investments. But on the overall landscape of the things, technology still remains high on the investment agenda.
So the scalability of business growing to a level whereby we can sell Oracle technology is actually there. And I would say that adoption of new technology in Pakistan actually is comparable to any other developed country in Asia Pacific for that matter. And we have been able to demonstrate that, and customers have shown their confidence in our technology. So I would say that the challenge of selling Oracle technology has not been there for us.
Well, I mean, I think the CIOs have a role to play in driving the business, and I think more and more we're starting to see CIOs play a more driving seat on the board to try and basically on the management board to try and provide the various options to the organization, not just from a cost perspective in terms of reducing costs, which is what I talked about earlier, but in terms of capability, in terms of business strategy, and that's the second bit that we didn't really talk about in terms of capability, in terms of customer management, in terms of compliance, in terms of governance, in terms of various specific areas that they can go to. So I think more and more we're starting to see CIOs play a very significant role in working with the management team in providing technology-led options. But once again, I kind of have to bring it back to that I don't necessarily think that's a new thing, but I think they need to do that at a reasonable cost that allows the organization to be able to adopt these capabilities without breaking the bank. And that's pretty much what we've been focusing on.
When I see Pakistan offers a great opportunity. When looking at ASEAN, we have two set of economies. There are countries that are very, very mature and have been deploying technology for many, many years, like Singapore and Malaysia to somewhat extent. Pakistan, on the other hand side, with the rising middle class, offers a great deal of opportunity. With the globalization happening, with businesses, regardless of their industry, looking at innovative ways to expanding the channels to the market, improving the customer service, improving the operational efficiencies within the business, they have come to a clear set of realization that technology is the way to go. As a matter of fact, in many of these industries, if you pick banking, if you pick telco, their business infrastructure is technology. When we talk about core banking, when we talk about mobile banking, when we talk about payment gateways, it all resides on technology itself. In case of technologies, when we are talking about cellular telephony, when we are talking about telco companies offering computing as a service, content services, all these are technology as a core asset of the business. So for a country like Pakistan to continue with the GDP growth, to continue to develop, technology is the one of the highest priorities.
As a company, we have solutions for almost all the customers, not just enterprises, but at SMB level or even at a retail level, we have solutions to address those needs. So that strength lies within us. We have open source technologies in terms of databases, like MySQL is now owned by Oracle after acquisition of Sun. We have other technologies like Linux operating system that can address smaller customers. At the same time, we are using the same open technology to address bigger enterprise needs. So that strength lies there. I think I see lots of potential at public sector level, whereby I think the need for IT solution is there. And now that we are also there, I think there are other IT vendors also trying to position their solution strength. And with our cost-effective and functionally rich products, I think we can also serve that sector more progressively. But looking at the manufacturing side or the retail or the distribution side, which normally we call MRD from our perspective internally, I see lots of companies coming to us asking for solutions that can help them achieve local competitive advantage and to increase their global reach. So for that matter, textile industry, if they want to win some business in US, it will help if we can actually provide them international solutions, so that actually help them build their repute as well at the same time. So that is helping them as well as us as well.
Oracle has always been a very significant player in the data warehousing space in terms of the core database technology that has been used and adopted by a lot of organizations across many industries for data warehousing. You know, what we've seen with the introduction of the Exadata database machine is that, you know, it's proven to be a disruptive technology. So, you know, when you put a disruptive technology into play, you find that, you know, it changes the status quo. And you know, what we're seeing on the ground is that most of the customers who are adopting data warehousing and analytics capability today are adopting, you know, Oracle Exadata. Why? It's faster. It's cheaper. It's running Oracle. You know, if you look at the organizations out there, they have Oracle skills. Oracle skills are readily available rather than proprietary. So, you know, the status quo has changed, and we're finding that customers who benchmark us against Teradata have found that the performance is significantly faster. It's cheaper, it's much faster, and I think from that perspective, we're seeing the status quo change. And, you know, I can't necessarily give you names of customers who've not been qualified to be references yet, but we're finding across just my region, we're finding that, you know, more and more customers who are doing evaluations and acquisitions of data warehousing and analytics technologies are choosing Oracle Exadata.
With the changing landscape, and if you look at the past decade, when, as I said earlier, regardless of the line of business you belong to or the industry you belong to, when there's a realization at the CEO level and the board level to ensure the top line growth as well as the bottom line improvements in profitability, technology is the only means, obviously with the process optimization, etc. There is no scaling back on the technology. Obviously there's a greater desire to extract more value from the existing investments and trying to do more with the less, which goes back to the very principle of driving the better return on investment. So on one end, there is a great desire to simplify the data centers, deploying the technology and trying to get the maximum return on the investments. But on the overall landscape of the things, technology still remains high on the investment agenda.
I think across the board, I think what we're starting to see in Pakistan specifically, you know, whether it's the banking sector, the telecommunication sector, customers need agility. They need the ability to grow their business strategy in different areas. I mean, if you look at the number of channels that are opening up today in the banking world, you know, it's growing significantly. The same thing with telecommunication. If you look at the consumer generation that we're faced with today, the channels they're exploring today are new. I'm just talking about channels here. Then if you look at the back office side of it, corporate governance that is required today is significant. Customer management capabilities that they need. So, all of these capabilities that they need today have a very strong IT or technology flavor. So we're starting to see that. We're starting to see that customers want to invest in, whether it's the banking sector, they want to invest in developing new channels, making sure that when you develop new channels, it's integrated from the channel right through the back office into the data layer. And so that's what we're seeing in terms of various different industries. The spend levels are very healthy and growing. As I said earlier, it's different in different industries, but we're starting to see various different, trends around customer management, new channels to market, especially in banking, even telecommunications. And again, from an architecture perspective, from a technology perspective, we're starting to see customers starting to be very interested in manageability, very interested in scalability and total cost of ownership, and the ability to have as much as possible, a single point of ownership, and systems that are engineered together. And that's pretty much what we're trying to do.
I think, as a matter of fact, local enterprises have latest information available to them to run their own businesses, and I think to some extent Oracle trying to bring that global and regional experience to Pakistan, and I think it's turning out to be a great mix, whereby they are actually able to understand and resolve their problems, while at the same time we are feeling comfortable and increasing our engagement with these customers.
What we're starting to see with customers from a technology perspective is they want systems engineered together. They want to reduce the complexity of integration, implementation, or I really would use the word integration. They're starting to come to us and say, look, make it simpler for us. Make it simplified for us. Our business is getting complicated in the sense there's a lot of new channels opening up. We need agility. We need the ability to add this whole capability in the front end, but we need simplification around the whole systems engineered together. I think that's the one thing I would say that from a technology perspective, we are seeing more and more. CIOs are coming to us more and more and saying, look, we'd like you to bring the whole package engineered together on our shop floor. We want to do consolidation. We do not want a very complicated IT architecture anymore. We need simplification, and how can you help us do this? Pakistan, from that perspective, it'll be interesting to see what Farhan has to say, but without a doubt, and as I said earlier, I spend a lot of time with CIOs across industries. And that's the one message I get from them. It's the one message I get from them consistently is, simplify it for us, bring in the full, engineer systems together, and reduce our total cost of ownership. And that reduction of total cost of ownership on the system side is a very strong message.
You see, trends are driven by business demands. So if I say in Pakistan, business demand is growing. So if there is another way of looking at it, is the adoption of technologies, the kind of technologies that local customers are buying. So I would say, from my experience within Oracle and by looking at the market, we are able to pitch new latest technologies that are available globally in Pakistan. So those latest trends are here as well. So I wouldn't say that Pakistan has an IT trend which is not available in, say, Singapore. Yes, the scale or the use of that IT technology may be limited at this point in time. For example, telco coming into a mobile banking phenomena is something new for Pakistan, but that is increasing. Similarly, I think cross-industry new solutions are coming in with the help of public sector, and I think that will increase day by day.
In terms of commitments, Oracle's ever-growing presence as well as the ecosystem in Pakistan is a testimony of our commitment to the market.